Man, we got another 65 to get back on the road after a long time of sitting. So if you guys remember from the previous videos, this is my aunt's 1965 Chevy Impala. And based off of 220 SKU right here, it has last been registered in 2010. So it is guaranteed to have been over 10 years since it's last been on the road. So let's get with the master mechanic right now. Since it's been such a long time since the last video, we're going to give you a brief overview of what has been done in between, I don't know, whenever the last video was recorded and now. We're gonna show it all to you. We're gonna show you what we need to do in order to get it back on the road, and let's just get right into it.
So as you can see from the title, we got another 65 Impala, my sister's car here. We're gonna get this thing on the road. We're gonna get it finished up. Had more problems, we had to move it again, it had to sit, so we're back on it. We're gonna get this thing on the road. So we had problems with the carburetor because it sat so long that the accelerator pump wouldn't squirt, the port was plugged up, it had debris inside of it from the residue of the gas and just crap, and power valve was stuck open and it was just messed up. So we got the carburetor rebuilt, thing runs like a champ. I had it running yesterday, and then now we have another problem showed up. So now we got a leak at the front crank seal. It's puking oil. The seal's as hard as a rock. We got some noise going. We got I know Southern California doesn't get storms, but we got some crazy rain today. We got some wild wind, so you might hear a little bit of noise on the doors, pounding on the doors. But yeah, just a quick overview. If you don't remember what's going on with this thing, we're in the middle of rebuilding the front suspension. We didn't get the steering done because we had to reuse the steering arms, the bolts of the spindles, so we had to modify them to fit the new CPP lower drop spindles. So we need to get the steering on it. We need to finish bleeding the brakes. We started bleeding the brakes, but we think we still have some air in it. The pedal's not quite right, so we need to bleed the brakes. The thing runs great, but it seems like either we don't have a thermostat in here or it's stuck open, because this thing ran for like, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 minutes yesterday, and long enough to start leaking oil out of the crank seal, but the thing never even warmed up. The thing never even moved the gauge. We got to check about getting a thermostat in there. It doesn't have a heater hooked up, but we need the engine to get the operating temperature to perform like it's supposed to. But we're able to get some temperature in it. Got his first fresh oil change after like 15 years, so that's pretty cool. Got a fresh oil change in it. And then you can see we had another problem that showed up, is this fan shroud. Even though we had it powder coated and everything, it must have broke loose the tack welds over here. So this thing's moving here, and it broke loose from the mount. So this thing's rattling when you rev it. The fan, gets so much air and turbulence going on. This thing rattles. So we're gonna have to sand it down and put some tack welds or something on there, a couple here and down here, to get that thing to shut up, quit rattling. You see, I still need to put the bracket on for the TV cable. My accelerator rod is maxed out here. I need to put a little jog in it to clear the bracket. Either probably come up would be the best bet. Come over the top of it. So I got to get another rod or a piece of all thread or something and make one. Because if we put a 700 in this fine automobile, so it's got 700 R4 transmission. So this is what we got to modify here to get it on. This is the other side. So this is a little bit too thick. I have to grind this down. I can't remember the exact measurements. I lost the paper on the instructions, so I just winged it. So I'm just grinding it down so it fits. And you can see here on the one that I already have, not only did I have to shorten up the bolts, they're way too long, they're gonna hit the control arm. So I shortened both bolts. I got a front and a back because one side's thicker than the other. You see, this is how I got to sand. I just sanded it down. I got the floppy sandy disc on my grinder. Kind of cleaned it up a little bit too. Got some of the casting off of it to make it look a little nicer so when we paint it. And I just touched it a little bit on the inside here because it gets a little close to the spindle. This spindle kind of rubs the upper control arm when the suspension is draped all the way down, so it's kind of hard to turn it lock to lock. This way it goes a little bit better. So you can see here it's got the little casting on the side here. So this goes around it, and it just was getting close. Once you sand this down to get it to clear the lower control arm here, it gets kind of close to this casting mark. So that's pretty much all I did. I just brought it down as close as I could on both sides. And then now I have enough room so it can swing around the control arm, and then I have my steering stop, and I'm able to hook up the outer tie rod. So now we get our steering. So that's the last thing we need to get this front end aligned. So that's what we're doing. So I got the passenger side all done now. I'm not gonna measure this and try to make this one the same. I'm just gonna make this one fit the driver's side, and then this one obviously fits the passenger. I'm not trying to make them identical. I just want to make it work on each side. So now I'm going to go to the other side, now that I have this side all finished up, and I'm going to do the same deal. I'm probably going to have to cut the bolts down, and I'm going to sand this down so it fits over there. So I got to take that side apart. You can see I got to take the caliper off. I'm fortunate that these won't slide off of here, so I don't have to take the whole hub off. So that's pretty cool. Normally I take the whole thing off, and then I put the caliper here. I know this brake line will self-destruct if the caliper was hanging off of it, so I had to make sure to get it some support there. We don't want the brake line to blow up.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go over to the driver's side now. I'm gonna take it apart and do the same thing. So it's been a few days. We got the steering brackets here painted. I already got the other side put back together. I got the bracket on it and the inner and outer tie rods and everything all put on. So we got steering on that side now. So now we just need to finish up this side over here. So in between that, I got the crank seal decided to start puking its guts. So we changed the crank seal. The thing was hard as a rock. That thing was all dried up. So we got that leak fixed, got it back together. We got the carburetor, did little adjustments to it, ran it again. So now I'm gonna get this side together here so we can get steering. So we got our nice steering shaft here. We're gonna go ahead and bolt it in. We're gonna sneak it in here. Hopefully we grounded enough. We got our cut down bolts, got our lock nuts. All right, so now we're back to square one. So now we get to put it all back together again. Now we got steering. We got our steering arm here, steering bracket. So now we're gonna put it back together. So grab our rotor. You see how the rotor tries to fall off there? I like to use a lug nut. Holds it all into place. See that? Look at that, huh? Look, mono hands. Get our caliper here. We had it protected this time. The brake line didn't self-destruct. Get our pads back into position. There it is. So now we can put our tie rod on. So we have a new adjuster sleeve, just a stock replacement. And then we have our little locks here. Then we have our inner and outer tie rod. The outer is a left-handed thread and the inner is a right-handed thread. You gotta make sure you don't lose your cotter pin. Got your cotter pin, got your little zerk fitting. And then I like to use some anti-seize on these threads, because if you ever want to align it down the road, it makes it a lot easier. Alignment doesn't last forever. So you wanna make sure everything moves nice and freely. You wanna get them both even in the sleeve before you try to adjust them, because once it's on the car, you try to tighten this one's going to loosen. So this is going to be our outer. So we got the inner and outer tie rods all put in here. We got the adjuster sleeve. We just got this rough eyeball close, but we got to snug down. Just from moving it, it's not going to come apart. So we got to lube the tie rods and everything. Still double check the bell joints are lubed. So I'll take care of that off camera, later deal. We already bled the brakes on this once already, bench bled the master. So I don't know if we still have a little bit of air in there, or I don't know what happened. We got squishy pedal. So I just want to check here at the lines coming, the front and rear lines coming out of the master, and make sure we got good pressure there. And then I'm gonna go around, we'll go to each corner and see. But this thing has been sitting for a long time, so I don't know if a little bit of moisture got in there and we got a little rust spot, and that's why it's not bleeding, but we'll see if we can get this thing cleared up. So go ahead and pump it up. Give me like 3 pumps and hold.
One eternity later.
So hopefully we got our brakes bled. We've been doing with this thing for a while here. It seems like, I don't know, it almost looks like this master took a crap. It's been sitting for like 5 years on the shelf in the garage. It's been sitting. We bought it a long time ago trying to get parts for this thing, and this thing's been sitting. But it seems like it might be sucking air from the back, because it keeps getting air in the rear reservoir here no matter what I do. Bench bleeding again. I tried everything. So right now it seems like it's stopping all the tires by hand. So we're gonna put it on the ground. We're gonna take it for a cruise. We're gonna see what's going on with it. So we're gonna put the front wheels back on it. We got the backpack on the ground. I got brake fluid everywhere. So I'm trying to clean some of this up a little bit. We're gonna see if we can get this thing on the road. Let's see what the brakes feel like. All right. So I don't know if you noticed or not, we have the back wheels. Front and back wheels are different from each other. We have the wheels, but we're waiting on the tires. We're gonna drive a little 50-50. 50% old, 50% new. Gotta go slow though, because those tires are like about 20 years old now, I think. They used to be on the Camaro back in the late 90s. So a little dry rotted. Eye alignment's a little bit off. The toe was, it's too much, couldn't even drive it, so I gotta get a little closer. So I adjusted this side over here, and I gotta move this side. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but it's way towed in. It's gonna plow like crazy, eat the tires off of here, going around the block. So I'm gonna jacking up each side, take the weight off the tire so I can adjust it by hand really quick, get it closer. One more thing, I wasn't able to put the bracket on for the TV cable. So I'm just gonna pull this cable out a little bit, about half of the throw. I'm gonna put a pair of vice grips on it. Just let that hang out. Okay, go for a little ride. Let's hear it, start it, come on.
You guys actually have heard this run if you watched previous videos. But look, it starts up way easier now. Check it.
What do you think, huh? The runner. All those tornadoes. Not too shabby. 20 years of sitting, 15 years, whatever. 15 years of not even running.
Okay, not even 5 seconds into our journey, and we're back in the shop. The master mechanic says there wasn't a nut on the shifter linkage, so it wouldn't go into drive. We backed it all the way up, and nothing, just nothing. Almost looks like I'm like having a party or something. There's nothing. So we're gonna make sure there's something right now.
And it's gonna sound weird, but I got a couple nuts. I'm gonna make one fit.
So the master mechanic can't find a nut lying around, so he's gonna rob Peter to pay Paul.
I'm gonna borrow this one right here. Don't tell anybody, okay?
He's gonna borrow one of these nuts down here on the Nova.
It's a Metricana nut.
He needs this exact size, and he can't find it anywhere.
I'll even take the washer too. Don't tell anybody.
How does Peter feel about this?
Peter'd be just fine with it. He's okay. All right, got it. Got it. Peter's a good guy. He helped us out.
Now that Paul's satisfied, how about we go for a drive? Have you ever driven this car?
I have. Many moons ago. We're gonna see if we can make it over here across the street to the gas station.
It's kind of a crazy intersection right here.
Maybe we'll go up and come back. Brakes are still no good.
Yeah, brakes aren't very good. They still go pretty far to the floor until they get any sort of firmness. It's chugging a little bit. I don't know if it's because it's low on gas or if it's something else, but we've went through the whole entire fuel system, so I don't know what it could be. The only thing that can make sense is there's garbage inside of the fuel tank, and that's what's clogging it up. Let's pull out in the street. Check it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't run that guy over.
Wait, we got a second. Oh, we got a second.
Second gear.
Can't see. Hold on, just look here. Hold on.
Adjust your mirror. Look over your shoulder.
Oh, buddy.
Change lanes. Oh, crap. I hope we can stop.
Oh, buddy.
I hope we can stop.
Oh,
Okay.
Woo-wee.
We were able to stop. So that's...
Whoa.
No turn signals?
Gotta go.
Oh, it's green.
No turn signal lever.
No outlet.
I think I'm turning around.
Good thing I don't have anything to plug in.
Yeah, everything's already charged up.
Yeah. I don't need an outlet. Turning radius of a 65 Impala is not the best thing on earth.
Talking about silly. You got power steering, huh? Yeah, nice.
One-hand palmer.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, give you some.
Look at that. Cruise on down the road, huh? You know the song, Slide, Slide, Slippity Slide? Cruising through the city in my 65. How's the steering?
Steering is amazing. Steering is a 10. Brakes are like a 3. Turn signals are a 0. Drivability is probably like a, well, it runs good. The idle's probably like a 5.
We did do a little bit of adjusted the carburetor and a little bit of timing just by ear. We didn't have the timing light, but just by, you know, he's the car whisperer. He just touches the car and, oh yeah, okay. So, okay, we're gonna put it right here. All right, yeah. Is that correct?
No, absolutely false.
Man, calling you out, huh?
Looking for a Fiero right now. So I pulled the sender out, trying to see if the little sock on the sender, little pickup, you know, sock on it was plugged up. It was full of crap, sand and everything, but it wasn't plugged. But I took it off anyways because I have a fuel filter up front, so I don't really need the sock. It runs, but there's not very much fuel in the fuel filter. So we gotta check into that. But I don't know, you kind of get on it and it pops back through the carburetor. So I'm wondering if the cam's starting to go a little flat or something, but I don't put some more gas in it. I'm scared to turn it off, so don't tell them. You don't put gas in it with it running. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die!
I can't get out of this side, so the master mechanic
Valet.
is letting me out.
Valet.
Is the fuel all full? Man, I don't know why that's such a tongue twister.
I didn't fill it up, I put what, six gallons in it.
6 gallons, $2 million. Long time no see. So as the master mechanic said earlier, these tires are about 20 years old. And I'm not saying the wheels, I'm saying the tires themselves. So they're very dry rotted. They've been on the 72 Camaro, Silver Bullet, back in the day. So these tires have been around. Okay, so queso. You guys want some melted cheese? So we're testing out everything. The oil pressure looks a little low. It's only at like 10 at idle. The temperature gauge is finally starting to move. It's at 150 right now. So that's better than whatever it was at before. And the fuel gauge seems somewhat accurate. Slowly getting the bugs worked out of a few of these issues. We're just trying to get it road ready. All right, so what do you want to do? We getting on the freeway?
We're gonna go up and exit.
Let's see how it does on the freeway. See how it cruises.
Not too bad for the front end. All out of whack, needs to be aligned. Man, it drives nice. Uh-oh. It doesn't run anymore. Houston, we lost. We have a problem, Houston. I think we're gonna have to pull over here a minute. We lost our gigawatts. I think we ran out of gas. Well, we didn't run out of gas because we have gas.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't hear anything. Uh-oh. I'm gonna run the battery dead here in a minute. Maybe we shouldn't have went on this adventure. Maybe we should have stayed closer to home. Move again, you're hold steady. Let me out.
Be careful getting out. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. See, this is what happens when you drive the project car. This is what happens. this happens. You sit alongside the freeway, cars whizzing by you.
It's not getting any gas up front.
I don't understand that. Why is it not getting any gas up front? That's the only problem we're having right now, other than the brakes. We're having the issue with no fuel getting up to the engine. It has a brand new fuel pump, brand new fuel filter, brand new fuel lines, the carburetor's rebuilt, all the works, man. It should have fuel. We don't understand what's going on right now. There's zero fuel in there. Zero. Unreal. Okay, how about this? Give us a minute. We're gonna figure this out. We'll explain it to you later, because it's not a good place to be explaining this. All right, well, we got it back to the shop.
Good afternoon, everybody.
So what happened is pretty much right after that clip, I ran back to the shop, which was what? How far did we go? Like half a mile?
About a mile, yeah, half a mile.
Mile, half a mile. So I ran back to the shop, grabbed the van, drove over to where this thing broke down alongside the freeway.
Where this clunker was.
We got a ratchet strap, ratcheted it to the van, and then drove all the way back here.
Still cruising the Impala today. Just be cruising a lot better if it was running, but I got my trusty van up here pulling me. You know, first adventure in the old Impala after 15 years. I guess it's bound to be expected. Down the shoulder, down the side road, over the mountain, through the woods.
We got back here, diagnosed it. We still don't know what's going on with the fuel, but we diagnosed why it didn't start. It had no spark. The ignition control module inside of the distributor went to crap. Yeah, so now look at this. Look, it starts right up. Go start it, master mechanic.
Right.
You gotta pop the hood first.
Well, I gotta put the battery disconnect back on.
Connect up the battery.
You got a good bolt in there, so it's nice and tight.
Start it up, sir. Let's see how easy it starts with the key. Just like that. You see that? So we're gonna call it quits for this video. I don't think you guys are gonna see this car possibly ever again. Sorry, Ivan. Sorry, Blake. No more 65 Impalas. I think this video deserves a like. You guys, I think you guys have been lacking a little bit on the likes. You should go down, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button.
You've been slacking.
Definitely been slacking. Get to it, everybody. Stay tuned in the next video. We got a lot coming. Oh, phone's ringing. We gotta go.
For me.